Today we're going to be showing you how to replace the spark plugs on your Subaru Crosstrek. These are located under the hood on either side of the engine. You're going to want to use a 10mm wrench. Then remove the terminal from the battery. You may have to wiggle it a little. On these cars, you're going to want to pull the retainer off of the stud for the battery holder. Make sure you place the negative terminal somewhere that it's not going to make contact with the positive. Next, we're going to remove the cover on the positive terminal and set that to the side. Loosen the positive terminal. You're going to want to use a 10mm wrench. And pull the positive terminal off the battery. This one may take some wiggling. Now we'll remove the battery tie down using a 10mm socket. You only need to loosen the front and rear of the bracket to get it off. You don't need to fully take the nuts off. I like to lay the battery tie down in a way that it tells me which way it goes back in. And remove your battery. To remove the coil pack, we'll take out this 10mm bolt. To remove the coil pack, pull it out of the head. And you can flex the boot and turn it up. Press in on the tab on the connector and pull on the connector. Inspect the terminals to make sure there's no corrosion or damage. To remove the spark plug, we're going to use a 14mm socket. I'm going to start with a small 1-inch extension. I'm going to put that into the spark plug hole. And push that onto the spark plug. Give it a little twist back and forth, make sure it's seated. Now we can add the rest of our extensions. We're going to use a swivel adapter next. Next, depending on the size of the ratchet you're using, you can use a 6 or a 3-inch extension. When removing the spark plug, you don't want to go too fast and let it wobble around too much, as that can maul up the threads in the engine. Now we'll use a magnet to pull out our spark plug. To install the spark plug, we're going to start with the spark plug itself. Put it in the spark plug hole and follow it up by your socket and 1-inch extension. Push that in, give it a little wiggle and it should seat onto the spark plug. Now start turning to the right. If it feels like it snags, loosen and start over. Always thread the spark plug in by hand. Don't use any electric tools to thread it in. You could maul up the threads in the block. Once we have the spark plug snugged down, we're going to torque it to 13 foot-pounds. You can do the same to the rest of the spark plugs. Now install your coil pack. We're just going to put a little bit of dielectric grease right at the end so that it slides on easily. And we'll install our coil pack. Reinstall our 10 mil. Now we can tighten down this 10 mil. Be cautious not to over tighten it, as it's only supposed to be at 4.6 foot-pounds. Reinstall the connector, make sure you hear it click. You're going to want to clean any corrosion off your terminals. You can simply use a wire brush, and if it's really tough, a little hot water actually goes a long way. Now we'll do the same to the other terminal. And do the same to the terminals on the battery. Now, put the battery back in its tray. Reinstall the battery tie down. If your battery has a handle, slip it through the handle, and be careful not to touch the terminals on the battery with the bracket. Get the rear J-hook in its hole. And the front J-hook. Hold the bracket up while you tighten down the nuts. Once your bracket is solid and tight, it's good enough. Place your positive terminal back on and tighten down the nut. Be careful not to over tighten these, as you can crush the terminals on the battery. Place the cover back on the positive terminal. Place the negative cable back on the bracket and reinstall the negative terminal. Be sure not to over tighten the nut so you don't crush the terminal.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.